My apologies for the technical difficulties that we had, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through the entire session that I just did, and it's going to be recorded, and we'll put it up and make it live for you so that you can access it. Okay, so again, welcome to Virginia Tech. Under normal circumstances, you would have been here, and I would be standing in front of you, welcoming you and congratulating you on your offer of admission. But this is not normal. This is a very unprecedented situation, and I truly, truly hope that you are safe and healthy at home and doing well. Because you can't see me, I figured I'd give you a picture. So here's me. That's me in the middle. That's my son, who graduated from the College of Business here at Virginia Tech. That's my daughter, who graduated from the College of Natural Resources and the Environment at Virginia Tech. Here's a picture of the entire family. As you can see, we're all Hokies. My husband's got his degree from here, and so do I. They're big football people. I kind of just go when the weather's nice. So anyway, now you can know who I am, and I'm just going to keep going through this session. So the first thing I want to say is congratulations. You should be really proud of yourself that you received an offer of admission to Virginia Tech. We have a large number of applicants, and we're very selective as an institution, especially the College of Engineering. So again, you are to be congratulated on how well you have done academically. So this slide was put together by our students, and what does it take to be an engineer? So when you ask them that question, the first thing they come up with is you've got to be creative. Engineers are always thinking outside the box. And that's how we come up with the unique solutions and the different things that solve problems in all kinds of different areas, making life better for everyone. We also work together in teams a lot, and we find that, number one, it's a good way to bounce your ideas off of somebody else. We don't all think alike. We don't all come from the same backgrounds and disciplines and things. And bringing us together to solve a problem, it's like you take these collective minds and put them to work on a particular problem. And it's really good. So we do a lot of teamwork in your engineering undergraduate career. Students have to have good study habits. I will tell you that it is very important. One of the things I will say is, you obviously, you've got good grades. You've had good grades all through school. But I'm speaking generally, it tended to come a little easy, and you did your first period homework while you were in homeroom, and you studied for your third period class during second period. I don't remember doing homework, literally, when I was in high school. I mean, I went to school, I did my sports after school, and then I went to work. I worked in Sears. You can't do that here. In high school, they will ask you, they'll teach you something, and then they'll turn around and say, okay, here's a test. Tell me what I just taught you. In college, they will teach you stuff, and then they give you something completely different, and they say, take what we just taught you and apply it to this problem. So it's a different type of learning, and it's a deeper type of learning. So our students have to develop really good study habits. An interest in math and science, you don't have to like it, but if you hate it, then engineering is going to be a little unpleasant for you, because we do a lot of math and science. I also tend to find our students come from very challenging high school backgrounds. Often they have taken honors classes, they've taken AP classes, IB. They're heavily involved in extracurricular activities, sports and music and all kinds of things not related to the classroom. They're very busy people. So again, these are really, really good students. I can't stop saying congratulations on what you've accomplished. So when you start here your freshman year, everybody comes in general engineering. You are not allowed to enter the specific disciplines. You spend a year as a general engineering student taking basically the same classes, English, math. There's an introduction to engineering class that I'll talk about in a minute. But basically it is a common entry point. And if you use that QR code, it'll give you additional information. Let's suppose that you do have some AP credit and you want to know what course at Virginia Tech will I get credit for if I took this exam and got this score. If you go to that website, transferguide.registrar.vt.edu, it's actually like a table, and you can look up, if you took the computer science AP exam and you got this score, this is the class you will get credit for at Virginia Tech. It also includes, there's a table for IB, and there's also tables of courses that have been successfully transferred here from other institutions. So there's a lot of information that's available there that you can look up yourself. You don't have to wait until the university says, yes, you'll get credit for this course. You can actually get the information yourself. Pathways is our general education requirement. Basically, Gen Ed, think of Gen Ed as the university's way of having every single student have a baseline of education, so to speak, across all disciplines. So there are Gen Ed requirements in math and in science and in the humanities and in the social sciences and in the arts. The best thing I think about it is that you get to choose how you satisfy those requirements. You're not locked into taking a particular class. So you can explore, you can take things that interest you that satisfy the different pathways requirements. At the end of your freshman year, oh, well, let me back up. So you come into general engineering, and in the fall semester, you learn about the different engineering disciplines. So many of you, I know you've already made up your mind and you say, nope, I want to be an electrical engineer. That's all I've ever wanted to be. But you still, we require you to explore and to learn about the other disciplines, because I guarantee you, we have engineering disciplines here that you have never heard of, and you don't know yet what they do. So in the spring, and I'm gonna get back to that, in the spring, we ask you to give us your first 3 choices. What engineering do you want to go into? So you might say, okay, electrical is still my first choice, but you know what? I think chemical is gonna be my second choice. If you earn a 3.0 GPA, which is if you earn a 3.0 GPA, which is a B average, you are guaranteed your first choice major. If you are below a 3.0, you probably have about an 85 to 87% chance of getting your first choice. But what we do is we literally rank the students in each that have requested each different discipline and move students into that discipline until we reach the quota. And there is a maximum number. What we try to do is we try to keep our faculty-student ratio at a reasonable amount so that you get the attention that you need and that you should have while you're an undergraduate student. So there is a limit. However, the 3.0, the B average, guarantees you your first choice. So just keep that in mind. So I mentioned the engineering class. So this is the foundations of engineering. The courses that you take during your freshman year are fairly general. Everybody's taking chemistry and physics and calculus and English. Obviously, you won't be taking those courses if you have credit for them through AP or something, but those are the general courses that everyone's taking. And then this class, the foundations of engineering, where you learn about the different disciplines. You learn teamwork. You learn how to solve problems, how to be given a problem and figure out what are the variables and what information do I have and what information do I need in order to be able to solve this problem. We also talk about the future of engineering. Where are we going to be in 10 years, 15 years? These things will help you chart your path through your engineering education and in your professional life. So that class is Foundations of Engineering, as I mentioned, and there's a fall semester and then a spring semester version. The spring semester version is very, very focused on design. The students have this semester-long design project that they're working on that is really exciting and gives them a chance to do some hands-on work. So different disciplines. Let me see if I can move this out of the way. There you go. So different disciplines. Here are all of our engineering disciplines, right? Engineering education is the degree program where the general engineers are. So you can't get a degree, an undergraduate degree in engineering education. You move from there into one of our degree granting disciplines. So you might move into computer science or industrial and systems. And these are, again, just the numbers of students in each. So you can see that mechanical engineering is very, very popular, as is computer science, as is civil engineering. Some of our majors are smaller. Biomedical right now is brand new. These students are, the degree program just started with students this past year, and they are restricting the enrollment, growing it each year until they get to the number that they want. So next year, I believe they'll be taking 60 students into biomedical. Engineering, science, and mechanics, the reason that is maroon right there is because that degree program will be going away. We still have students pursuing that degree, and we will ensure that they have the classes that they need to finish their degree program. But once that last student graduates, engineering, science, and mechanics will no longer be offered here at Virginia Tech. Again, explore. one of the best things I think about engineering, and this has always fascinated me, is while it says, and I'll pick one, civil engineering, and everybody in civil engineering ends up getting a civil engineering degree, but they go off into different professions. So think of it this way. Let's suppose we all start in civil engineering and we take all the same classes our first year and all the same classes our second year. But by the time we get to our third year now, it says, okay, pick 2 technical electives from anywhere within the department, or that are offered. And I decide I really want to be in the transportation sector when I get my civil engineering degree. So I look at the list of transportation-oriented technical electives. Somebody else, you, for example, might decide you want to be in environmental. You want to work in the environmental engineering profession. So you would select your technical electives from that list. So in that way, we kind of tailor our own degree to go into the profession that we want. And each one of these disciplines has multiple different areas within, for example, industrial and systems. You've got operations research, you've got human factors, you've got systems engineering, and you've got manufacturing. Within, I'll pick another one, within civil, you've got transportation and environmental and geotechnical, all kinds of different disciplines within there. So I guess what I'm saying is, don't be fooled by this one name. Within each engineering discipline, there are multiple different areas that you can pursue. And that's why we want students to spend their freshman year really exploring engineering and finding out what it's about. I'll give you an example. I came here to Virginia Tech and fully intending to be a civil engineer. I learned about civil engineering from my girlfriend's father, and it just fascinated me. I used to talk to him after work and just listen to what he was doing, and it was great. He built a tunnel under the East River in New York. He worked on the Twin Towers. He was part of the construction crew on the Twin Towers. He was construction manager. I went to the civil engineering information session, and it convinced me that's exactly what I wanted to do. A friend of mine was like, please come to this session with me. I don't have anybody that wants to go with me, and I don't want to go by myself. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll go with you. And it was the mining engineering session. I got my undergraduate degree from Virginia Tech in mining engineering. I found out that what actually fascinated me about civil engineering was the size, the equipment, these massive pieces of equipment that civil engineers used in construction. And I got to tell you, the equipment that mining engineers use is the biggest and the best. It is so cool. So that's why I got my degree in mining. I really enjoyed it very, very much. So think about it. You might change your mind. Opportunities available. So, one of the things that we want to encourage students is, while you're here, explore, right? Look at all different kinds of things. You can get minors within the College of Engineering in any one of these areas, right? You could also get a minor or another major outside the college. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. So suppose I wanted to get, you want to get a minor in business, or you want a double major in music, or you want to get a minor in political science. This is, I like to tell students, this is a pay one price institution. You pay for the semester, you can take as many classes, up to 19 credits. If you want to go over 19 credits, you just need permission, but you can take as many classes in as many different areas as you want. Explore. You're only here one time, getting your undergraduate degree. You want to make the best of it. We've got study abroad opportunities for students. I'm going to talk about one in particular, the Rising Sophomore Abroad Program. But we've also got existing programs, or you can create your own. So an existing program, for example, the chemical engineering students, the summer after their junior year, chemical engineering students have to take a course called Unit Operations. Now, they can take Unit Ops here in Blacksburg, or they can take it in Europe. We actually have an agreement with an institution in Europe where a group of students, 20, 30 students or so, will actually take this class in Europe. I believe that they're in Copenhagen right now. Well, not now, obviously, but that was where they're planning to go this summer. So that's a canned program. You can also design your own. So I had a work study student one time, his name was Mike, and Mike was really, he was always fascinated by Japan. And so he decided he wanted to study abroad in Japan, but there was no standard program. So he worked with the study abroad office in the College of Engineering and the global education office at the university level, and designed a program, figured out where he was going to go, figured out what classes he was going to take, and what he could transfer back. And Mike alternated semesters almost, going to Japan and then coming back. He went, I think, 3 times. And then when he graduated, he moved to Japan and is still working there full time. So it's an experience. It's something that you can do. Undergraduate research. So let me talk about that a little bit. So you're in class one day and your professor says something that you're like, oh, that was kind of interesting. And you go up to the professor after class, and hopefully you don't like go up to the professor and say, you actually said something interesting in class today. No, don't do it that way. Don't do it that way. You go up to them and say, I was really interested in that statement you made about blah, blah, blah. And the professor's like, okay, well, you want to talk to me about it? And you're like, yes, can I? Professor invites you down to their lab, and you can end up working in their lab. You could end up working there for credit. You could work there for pay, for wages, or you could just volunteer and work there for free, just because it's something that you want to do. So undergraduate research is an opportunity for students. We have a ton of engineering professional societies and organizations, ranging from engineering fraternities for men and women, to honor societies, to discipline specific. So there's like the American Society of Industrial Engineers, or the Institute of Industrial Engineers. There's the American Society of Mechanical Engineering. There is the Biomedical Engineering Honor Society. All kinds of different organizations that you can get involved in that will help you develop both professionally and academically. So I mentioned I was going to talk about one particular study abroad program. We call it RSAP, the Rising Sophomores Study Abroad Program. And basically, it is freshmen. You apply during the fall semester of your freshman year. And then if you get accepted, you take a class during the spring where you learn about global engineering. How is engineering different in the Dominican Republic than it is in the US, or that it is in Japan, or in New Zealand? And then at the end of the semester, you actually go abroad to that particular country. You pick a different track. These are the tracks that we had in 2018. They keep expanding the number of tracks and the number of students. And I'm pleased to say that this particular study abroad program actually won a national award for the way that it introduces students to engineering and to study abroad. So it's a really great program, and I encourage you, if you come here, to think about that. But you can get information at this website. So take a look at it. It's a great program. Internships and co-ops. One of the things that we do want is we want our students to have some experience before they graduate. For many, it's almost essential. And in fact, employers are they're looking at your resume to see what kind of experience have you had. So we have a Center for Career and Professional Development. Their job is to help you find a job, an internship or a co-op or a full-time job. They are there to help you. They use this software called Handshake, where you can actually upload your resume and employers will look in Handshake and say, oh, I want to talk to that student. Or the other way around, employers will list jobs in Handshake and you can go in there and say, I want to apply for that job. These are just some of the companies that our students have worked for all over the US. We have students going abroad to work. We have students, I think 2 students every year, that do a research internship with Rolls-Royce in England. So all kinds of opportunities there. Support outside of class. So, there's more to Virginia Tech and to your undergraduate career than just courses. So these are some of the things that we think are important, and I'll talk about them. Career fairs. So in the fall, we have the Student Engineers Council hosts Engineering Expo, which is a massive career fair. And when I say massive, I'm talking 300 plus companies over 3 days that are coming here to interview our students and to hire them for full-time and internships and co-ops. Great opportunity. We have another career fair in the spring called Career Fest. Those are the engineering career fairs. We also have some departments that actually offer career fairs. So there's a construction career fair, and there's a computer science career fair. Again, our job is not done when you graduate. We want to make sure that you also have a job when you finish here. Peer mentoring, Hypatia Galileo STEP, these are student support programs that are offered to our freshmen. So I'll talk about them separately. Peer mentoring is, we hire upper class engineering students to serve as peer mentors for freshmen. It's somebody that you can ask a question about anything that you want. Where are the best gyms in town? Where should I work out? Where can I get my hair done? Are there any temples here in Blacksburg? What course should I take if I'm really interested in this as a career? Why'd you choose mining engineering? Any kind of question you want. It can be related to classes, it can be related to personal or social issues, anything that you want. These are successful engineering students who have lived in Blacksburg for a couple of years, and they know a lot, and they're ready and willing to share with you. We probably had close to 800 students in the peer mentoring program last fall semester. So that's something to consider. And it's free. It's free and fully volunteer. If you want to do it, please just join. If you don't, it's not a problem. We're still here to help you. STEP is our summer bridge program. So the summer bridge program is basically designed to help you transition from high school to college, because college is different, okay? And the STEP summer bridge program, it's a 5-week transition. It is not for credit, but you take engineering, you take math, and you take chemistry. So, and basically we have faculty members who have looked at those classes in the fall and said, students typically have the most trouble with these areas. So that's what we cover during the summer. It's, as I said, it's not for credit, so it's nothing on your transcript, but it's designed to help you learn just how different college is from high school. So I'll tell you a story. So, the first week of class, the students get here and they're having a blast, right? They're meeting new friends. They're learning campus. They're learning Blacksburg, summertime in Blacksburg, which is always a lot of fun. They're going to class, but they're staying up half the night playing LOL, and they have these super soaker water blasters that they got from Walmart, and they're having water gun battles all across the lawn. And then Friday comes around and they have their test on Friday. And I can tell you, over the weekend, those are some really sad little puppies, okay? Because they realized that they could not learn 6 weeks of chemistry overnight, okay? They couldn't learn 3 chapters overnight. They needed to study. And that's when I began to talk and work with them. Students that come to the College of Engineering, they're incredibly smart. That's one of the best things about them. They're amazingly smart. One of the worst things about the students coming to the College of Engineering is that they're amazingly smart, and it's really hard to tell them anything. They have to experience it for themselves. So I really enjoy the Summer Bridge program. I wish that I had had something like this when I was an incoming freshman. I think I would have had a much more successful career than I've had, even though I've been pretty good. But it's something to think about. And again, we will have some sessions. I'll give you some additional information about STEP after this session. Hypatia and Galileo are our living learning communities. So Virginia Tech has a lot of living learning communities. This is, imagine you've got a group of people that have something in common that choose to live together. And I said something in common, not everything in common. So these are students who want to pursue engineering degrees. But we have rugby players and musicians and cheerleaders and track people and gamers and all kinds of different unique individual students whose only thing that I know they have in common is they all want to be engineers. So it's really nice being able to, you've got study groups that are right there on your floor. If, you happen to miss class because you're sick, somebody on that floor or on the floor below you went to class and you can get the notes from them. It's a great, great environment. And I can tell you that the students that live in Hypatia and Galileo, they graduate at a rate about 15% higher than students who do not participate in Hypatia and Galileo. And I think it's because of that camaraderie, that teamwork, that ability to get whatever help and assistance you want or need right there where you live. One of the nice things about Hypatia and Galileo is that we're housed in Lee Hall. We have a maker space in Lee Hall called the Studio, where we have all kinds of hand and power tools and 3D printers and model makers and sewing machines and all kinds of stuff. And that's available only to the students that live in Lee Hall. So that's a little perk for you. All right, moving on. As I said, there are additional Brazen sessions about Hypatia and Galileo, peer mentoring, and the Summer Bridge program. So on these nights, we'll be sending out information about how to log into those sessions. But if you're really interested in any of these, please join those sessions on those days. Engineers have the best toys in the world, okay? We've got a formula car. We've got a mini Baja vehicle, which is basically an all-terrain vehicle. This is the human-powered sub. These are student projects. that any student in any discipline, in any college actually, can work on. Some of these students are in there working on the project as part of their senior design activity. So they're actually getting credit. They have a specific assignment and they are graded and getting credit for completing that assignment. Other students are in there just because they want to be there. It's something that they want to do. We've got business students, we've got science students, we've got tons of engineers working on, this is the concrete canoe. They participate in national competitions. So for example, there is a formula car competition, and we ship our students and the formula car off to the Midwest, and they are tested against other colleges, other universities. And one of the best things about this, we always come out near the top, always. Our students are so smart, and the work that they do is so incredible. But again, we've got 2 different labs now. We have the WARE lab as one student projects lab, and we've just opened another facility called the AEDL, because we have so many of these projects that allow students to take what they have learned in class and apply it in a hands-on way. So that's another perk of being here at the College of Engineering at Virginia Tech. So this is just some of the outcomes. Obviously, our students do well. Our overall graduation rate is about 70%. I mentioned Hypatia and Galileo, it's about 85%. For the students that, the class of 2018, we got responses from about 80% of the students, and of those, 66 of them, 66% said that they were employed. 14% said they were either in graduate school or planning to start graduate school. Average starting salary, $65K. Obviously, that's going to depend on where you live and where your job is, but engineers make good money. No denying that. For the computer requirement, we do have specific requirements within the College of Engineering. I recommend seriously, don't buy your computer until the summer. We have a digital information bag, which I will show you in a minute, but by that time, we know what we want the students to have, okay? You can get special pricing and warranty through the bookstore, but you can buy your computer anywhere you want. We have students that have Macs. You can have a PC or a Mac. It's completely up to you. I got my son's computer at Best Buy, which is, right next door, right here in Blacksburg, because I like the warranty, and because my son, I knew I was gonna have some trouble with it, and yes, he did drop it. And so I just took it to Best Buy. They gave him a loaner until his computer was fixed. The bookstore will also do some of the same types of things, but you can get your computer anywhere you want, okay? There is no requirement that you have to buy it through Virginia Tech. There's a digital bag that I mentioned, the digital information bag. So this will be available for you, and you can look up the information on the computer. The engineering showcase, normally you would be here in town, and I'd be telling you, after this presentation, please go next door to Hancock Hall. All of our departments will be down there in the atrium just waiting to talk to you, faculty, staff, and students, to answer any question that you might have about that particular discipline. We will also have, instead of doing that, since you're not here, we will have these booths where you can actually enter the booth that is for computer engineering. And if you have questions about computer engineering, there will be faculty and students there to digitally respond to your questions. It's like a live chat. So after this presentation, each of our departments are hosting this virtual showcase, and you can get any question answered that you choose. The Center for the Enhancement of Engineering Diversity, that is the office that runs STEP and Hypatia Galileo and the peer mentoring. So they will also have a booth. I encourage you to please get your questions asked. They're going to be available until about 11:40 today. So that concludes my presentation. Again, I apologize for the technical issues that we had before. We thought seriously about recording this as opposed to doing it live, but I thought that live would at least feel a little better for you. I'm really sorry that you can't come to Blacksburg right now. It's a glorious day, and you would love it. And I know once you get here, you know that this is the place for you. So I'm going to end this session now. Be sure to check out the information in the chat room, including the pre-recorded video presentations, okay, and a video intro from my Dean's Team students, my student recruiters. If you've got any questions, here's the email for you. And again, I hope you decide to join us here at Virginia Tech. We welcome you to the Hokie Nation. Take care.